everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tane Talks. I'm your host, Tane. I am talking on I would call it a minisode, not a full episode, because I will be talking about the MAFS Season 20 sneak peek that is up on Peacock. It's like a 7 minute sneak peek, and I honestly think it's going to be part of the premiere, like basically 7 minutes of what we're going to see of the premiere. Let me rewind first. In case you haven't heard, this is for people who are not chronically online. MAFS is coming back for its 20th season, and it's still going to be on Peacock because they've signed, I think Kinetic signed a deal with Peacock. So the last season was on Peacock, and we are going to do the same. But I think this is the first fully Peacock produced season where, I think the last one was filmed for Lifetime. And, it's going to be different because all the experts that we know are gone. There's no Dr. Pierre, no Dr. Pepper, no Pastor Cal. It is a brand new maths, and we are entering into a new era. And I'd love to know what people think, but I do think it's kind of divided. I think half the people are like excited because we have been talking about a refresh, but again, I feel like last season was the refresh, kinda, because we had the experts that, we know and love, and we just had a different process, I guess it was, because we were streaming it. It was coming in multiple episodes. Some people said it was rushed, but it was different. So this time it is going to be different. We have seven couples, I believe, and new experts, and it might be a new format. We don't even know anything that's coming on it. The only thing that was shared, I think it was on Us Weekly or People Magazine. And also shout out to Mass Fan. She always shares stuff first. We know the people that are going to be coupled together. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe Mass Fan told us who's coupled together, but maybe the magazine premiere was just telling us who the people are going to be that are going to be matched for the episode. So it's weird because we have the premiere on July 12th, and then we have episode 2 and 3 on the 16th. So I think Thursdays, it is going to be Thursdays, but they have the premiere episode on a Sunday on the 12th. I don't know if it's because that's when the finale of Love Island is, getting some of that lead in audience. I don't know, or maybe it's sort of like a matchmaking special, meet the people type thing. I don't know what the idea is, but that's what it is. We haven't also really gotten like an official schedule, but again, that's what Mass Fan shared in terms of like the schedule. The premiere is on the 12th, and subsequently, I don't know how many episodes it is going to be Thursdays, but so far it looks like it's going to be 3 episodes every Thursday after that. So, like I said, there's going to be two new experts. I will tell you a little bit about them. It is Paul Brunson. He's the first one. A little bit about him is that some time ago, way, way back, I want to say about 2011, 12, back when OWN was still finding its way, and OWN is, Oprah's network. He hosted a show, well, co-hosted a show called Lovetown USA, and it was a show where everyone in the small town, like in Georgia, got involved in like some social experiment where Paul and his co-hosts were trying to like mend relationships between like friends, between romantic relationships, as well as finding love for people who were single, all within the little town in Georgia. He is currently, I want to say best known, I guess arguably, he has a podcast called We Need to Talk, where he interviews various people about their life, including like a lot of reality TV people and including Love Islanders. He was recently an expert. He's been an expert on MAFS UK. So he is based in the UK. I don't know now that he's an expert for the US MAFS if he's moved over here. I don't know. But he was an expert for MAFS UK and Celebs Go Dating, which, again, if you're watching 90 Day Fiance, Dr. Tara, who I mentioned, I think I mentioned that in the last recap too. She's a sex therapist. She's also a therapist for Celebs Go Dating. Um, you may not have heard, but MAFS UK for now is temporarily on pause because there were accusations of sexual assault from some of the brides on there. So everything was shut down, including like taking off streaming. So I don't know what the end result of that is going to be. But, and one of the other experts, Mel Schilling, was also an expert on Married at First Sight Australian. She is Australian, but she was an expert on the UK. And sadly, she passed away from cancer a few months ago. So I think MAFS UK is either done for good or on ice, but either way, it just means that Paul has more time and Paul is going to be an expert now. He is also the global relationships science expert at Tinder on there. And all that to say that he has a pretty solid resume. Like he's coming with experience. Like he's been matchmaking for a while and he talks about relationships with people and, talks with couples, single people. So he is coming with a backed up resume. Now, Paul looks really good and looks really young, but he is 51. Contrary to how he looks, he is 51. So hopefully he is coming with wisdom. With age comes wisdom. So he's coming with that. He's married to his college sweetheart. He doesn't talk a lot about her, but he has shared in the last few months, like she is currently going through some health issues. Unless I missed it, I don't know what exactly it is about, but he has talked about her having surgery and how serious it was, not knowing what the outcome would be. And she's getting better slowly and surely. So, all the good juju to him and his family, and hope she gets well soon. But yes, that's it about Paul. So, Paul, I'm familiar with, I know about him. So, he's bringing his experience over here. Now, Lisa Paz, I am not familiar with her at all. The only thing I saw about her is that she is a Miami based couples counselor and sex therapist, and that's it. So I do find it interesting that we are going from three experts to two. Why that was the call? Because when we had three experts, it was hard enough to get them to fly there and be there, with the people when they need it. So now we have one man down. How are we going to handle this? But again, maybe the format is different and I don't know what the format is going to be. And maybe they do not need three, but even the UK versions, the Australian versions have always had three. So I am curious as to why we are down to two, which is a shame though, because, Dr. Pepper would have been on call. She lives in Seattle and this is her backyard. So, we've been joking, where is Dr. Pepper in the last few seasons? We might not have had to ask that question this season, but que sera, sera. Okay, like I said, we have more couples, and the last time I had Jason on during 90 Day Fiance, we had speculated if they were going to go the international route, where, for those who don't know, Married at First Sight Australia, what they do is it's not a legally binding marriage. You have a commitment ceremony. They make it seem like it's a wedding, but it's more of a commitment ceremony. And every week you have a dinner where all the couples come together and the experts are just watching through the screen and allegedly finding out information for the first time. So that's the other thing I'm also curious about is in the past, right? The experts in the US version have always made it clear, like, hey, we get, a briefing every day. We know what's going on. We're aware of what's going on. But based on if they're going to go the Australia route, they are always like, oh gosh, this happened. Oh wow, it looks like they had a hard week. Are they going to do that? Is there going to be a daily briefing, or are they going to find out things during the dinner if they do the dinner? So yes, we have the dinner, and then after the dinner, there's a commitment ceremony. That's where all the couples are together and they meet with the experts, and then they sit on the couch, they go through their week, they go through the ringer, everyone talks about it. Then at the end, you decide if you want to stay or if you want to leave. As long as one person writes stay, the couples have to stay. If both write leave, then they have to leave. So I don't know if they have enough couples to do this, because if it's seven, usually the Australians, they have like 11 or more. They start with about nine, and then later they add like three more couples. They have people who come in later, and they say they do that because they want to shake things up for the older couples that have already started the journey, give them a new perspective, or remind them of, when they first started and why they're doing this. So I don't know if, like Jason said, if we're going to get more people afterwards and it's going to be like 10 couples, but somehow I think it's just going to be this seven. But again, we don't know anything and we don't know what the format is going to be. I feel wary that we have a three-time reality show person cast, and I'm just wondering what the angle is. What is it about Nick that got him cast? If we are actually getting a matchmaking special, then it'll be interesting to see if they talk about why. And even if they wanted to cast a reality vet, why Nick? I think is my question. For those who are curious, the shows that he's been on is Battle Camp, The Circle, and Perfect Match. So Perfect Match is the only dating show that he's been on. I don't think he did so well on that, but the rest he did do well on because he's a smart person and he's good at the competitive reality shows. But this is the thing, and this is why I don't understand. I have mentioned how I was disappointed in last season. I thought moving to streaming, moving to Peacock would, maybe this is too big of a reach, but catapult our show into the zeitgeist. But there was nothing, like it just felt like there wasn't even a drop in the ocean. Like it didn't do what I thought it would do. And I don't know if there was enough like promo for it. And even with this, the show premieres on July 12th. Around that same time, Love is Blind After the Altar UK is premiering. The Ultimatum is premiering. And I'm just, shouldn't we space this out to give some of these shows a chance? I don't know, but I don't get paid the big bucks to think about this, but these are the things I think about because I just want this show for everyone to experience it. And it's just weird that it seems like it had more eyes on it when it was on Lifetime than now that it's on streaming with Peacock, you know? So I don't know. I hope they also do better because I think there's something to be said about not having the cast like be open and social media and talk about it. But I don't know. They seem to be able to um talk about it. And I just feel like water cooler moments, like we don't have that anymore. Like maybe we just throw that out there. Like we got a lot of people, and I understand these are real people in their real lives, but we got a lot of people in the Atlanta season where Chris was on because the clips are just going around. And I don't even think we had any for last season. So we'll see. All right, this season is based in Seattle, Washington. And remember that we have had a Love is Blind season there. It's the season, oh God, I hope I'm right. We got Zach and Bliss, we got Kwame and Chelsea, and Brett and Tiffany. But what I also remember that there weren't enough people in Seattle that we had to kind of stretch it out to Portland to get some people out there. So I don't know if that's going to be the case too, where there's going to be some people coming from Portland. And I say this because then we should expect the argument of who's going to move because I live in Seattle, who's making the sacrifice, and things like that. So we're starting the sneak peek with Marissa, who is 30, saying that she loves love and has been to 6 weddings alone this year. We see her in a car. She's been driven to a location. They say that she's walking into a bachelorette. I'm like, does not look like a bachelorette. And I noticed that one of the women's, they did blur out her faces, and I'm wondering why, because it was only cast members, like it was only brides that were there. And then we see Felipe, who is 29. He's a restaurant manager, saying that he wasn't always this attractive. And my intrusive thoughts are like, who says you are now? Like, who starts an intro like I am? Like, she just gave yourself like I wasn't always this attractive with all confidence that everyone agrees with you that you are right now. I mean, he might be, maybe he is, for you guys, you let me know. He says he's always been an uggo most of his life. Ugly is what that means. But, he started working out, he tanned, he took Accutane, and then he got his teeth whitened. And that's when he learned that women are just as shallow as men because ever since then, he's been getting hit on nonstop. Guys, my meter is tingling, it's going off, and my eyebrows are raised on this one because one, a self-professed ugly duckling turned swan might still be working through some things. I don't know if he's worked through the things, but I don't want to say he's a late bloomer, but he just discovered his hotness recently. So has he gotten everything out of his system and caught up and made up for lost time according to him? That's why my meter is tingling. And also just his intro just has me like, who, anyone who's like talking about, oh, I want to settle down, this is it, is that how you started? Again, I know the producers might have asked him a question and that's what he's answering, and they're trying to create his persona, but I don't know, still has me raising my eyebrows at him. So he walks into the quote unquote bachelor party and he meets Adam, who's 31, and Mecca. Adam says he's from the Pacific Northwest. Forgive me, guys. What does that mean? Like, why didn't you just say I'm from Seattle or I'm from Portland? I don't know. Just say the state that you're from. Why is he saying Pacific Northwest? So if you're from the area, let me know. What does that mean? So right off the bat, I will say that this is similar to MAFS Australia because the night before they start the weddings, we see the brides and the grooms all separated, of course, just all meeting each other, and there's just drinks. They're just having drinks and they're just chit-chatting about how they're here, their past dating life and all that. So in this case, so far, it is similar. And we see the cars, like they all coming to the cocktail situation, meet all the other brides and grooms separately. We see them come in their cars, and during their car ride is when we hear all their like sob stories, sorry, their life stories on there. And so far, that's what we're seeing on this sneak peek. Felipe starts talking to the other guy, says that he was born in Brazil but moved to the States when he was 6. What happens here is that when we started, it was 3 men, like I said. It was Felipe, Adam, and Mecca. Then as the scene keeps coming back to them, just more men just keep popping up. It's like whack-a-mole and a mole just keeps popping up, so men just keep being added on there. Then we see Devin. Devin says he plays professional rugby. He looks so familiar, but I have checked everything and I don't know him from anything. But I don't know why. I feel like I've seen him somewhere before, but apparently not. Maybe he just looks like somebody else. So then they're asking each other, what do you do? What do you do? Mecca says, I clean porta potties. And everyone's like, whoa, really? Wow. I think they're just shocked when that was their reaction. And I think Mecca is an attractive man, but I will say that he has two of my no-nos. He has cornrows in 2026. I don't know when it was filmed, 2025, whatever it was, you shouldn't have cornrows. And he has dangly earrings. Just, I don't know. I, mm, we'll see what happens. I will not judge a book by its cover, but Will had dangly earrings, and that's all I'm gonna say. So he's 28. He says it's not glamorous work, but someone's got to do it. And I do have to tell you guys that his dangly earring is Coco Chanel. It's the CC that's on there that is dangling from his ear. Are they real? Are they not? You guys tell me. I don't know. I can't tell. So Felipe says he runs an Italian restaurant downtown. And I was like, wait, his title card says like he's the manager, but I mean, I guess you can manage your own restaurant. But later on, we find out he does own the restaurant. And he says he wants a wife who appreciates that he works hard, but likes to party a lot. Guys, another thing that I'm noticing is we are getting a mix of professions. Like in the past, in Married at First Sight, I'd say we had more like white collar jobs, but in this case, I think we're seeing like blue collar jobs involved here. And I don't know how that's going to work with the women because I think we're noticing that the women have, like, from what I'm seeing, is like senior marketing manager, HR leader, program manager. And I'm like, which, listen, there's nothing wrong with any job that anyone wants to do. But I'm like, are we now setting them up where finances and careers are going to be mismatched? Because that's a setup. Anyone remember part of what Michelle from the Chicago season had was like, oh, is David going to be able to afford the lifestyle? Do you remember Lindsay and Mark the Shark? Like it was just completely different. So I don't want a case where someone is just like, well, I make more money or finances and things. And then from jump, that's a hill that, or a hump that they're not able to get over. I think that's, where I'm coming from. That being said, I don't know how much, some of these make as a career. It's just something that I was noticing on there. So Felipe continues and says like he's been single for 4 years and that he dates a lot. Also, this man has bad posture. And somewhere along the line, more men have joined, like I said, and we see the Pastor Cal look alike. His name is Sean. He's 48 and he's shorter than the guys that are in there so far. So then Devin is dancing to like what seems like no music. Like we can hear the music, but he's just dancing. And I'm like, hey, go Devin. Felipe is not doing a good job of getting me his good books because he's doing all the talking. He's not letting anybody else talk. He's the one driving the conversation and just going a mile a minute. So they ask him if he brings his dates to his restaurants, and he's like, all the time. And I'm like, he confirms that he's the owner, and he reiterates in his confessionals that, guy, I just want to make sure to let you know that my employees can confirm that I don't hit on customers. They have to hit on me. You guys, I'm not a fan. Maybe he can turn it around, but I tell you what, I don't know why they chose to do this for the sneak peek, but Felipe is not winning me over so far in the sneak peek. So Nick is a person who's been on three reality shows. He's popped up now. He's a reality vet. And the guys have now moved to these oversized chairs that look like they're getting mani pedis, but they're not. They're just sitting in it. And Felipe is still talking. And he asked them, "You guys, have you ever cheated or been cheated on?" And all the guys are like, "No, we haven't." And Felipe is like, "Wow, I cheated once." And what's weird is like, I didn't even remember that I cheated until it came up 2 years later. Why are you telling us on a show about marriage? Why are you saying it like it's a flex? Like it's not something you should be ashamed of? Like, why are you telling us this? Gosh. Nick says that he um is gonna have the best marriage out of everyone. You guys, I told you, competitive reality show. He's looking at it as a competition. Like, are you coming here to make sure that you have a solid relationship and a solid marriage with the person that you're with, or you're here to make sure that, oh, you're the winner and you're the one who wins, and oh, I'm the best marriage out here? But his words, not mine. I know for sure I'm gonna have the best marriage out here. But if I had to pick anyone who's not gonna have a great marriage, it would be Felipe. So Felipe tells him, like, "Oh yeah, so I cheated in 2018, but I haven't done it since." And someone was like, "That you know of?" And they're like, "Ha ha 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 ha." I'm like, so funny. Oh my God. And he says that, of course, I'm not going to cheat on my wife. Sir, you did not even know that you cheated and you found out 2 years later. So how do you know what you can or won't do? But we go back to the women. We meet Nikki. They don't really say anything. We just see them walking in. Nikki is 46. Tori is 32. I'm gonna assume that Nikki is going to be with Sean, who is 48. And I gotta tell you, I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't see how tall she is, but Sean is short. I didn't realize how short. I just thought he was shorter than the guys, but there's another shot where we see of him with all the guys, and he's short. And I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna fly. It might not mean anything, because I remember Woody and Amani and I was like, oh, she might say like he's short, but it worked out fine. So I might be panicking for nothing. We meet Belle Jolie, who is 28 and a singer songwriter, and she says she wants to just recreate what happens in the movies, and she wants to be the leading lady. You guys know how I feel about adults and wanting to recreate movies and fairy tales and things. Again, I'm not saying you shouldn't be in love. I'm just like, can we live in reality? Because you are setting yourself up for failure. Like, life can be romantic, life can be whimsy, but it's also rooted in reality. Like, movies are not real life, but asking you should receive, right? So we'll see how that works out for her. The women are talking about types, and they're like, okay, so you guys, what are your types? Another thing I don't like, don't ask people what their types are. Like, sometimes people just make stuff up, and some people's types are like, whoever likes me, I like them. But Belgely is like, I like tall, dark, and handsome. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Belgely is the one who said it, but my rule is, when someone says tall, dark, and handsome, to me, I think you mean a tall black man. That's just me. I don't know when it evolved to tall, dark, and handsome, and I don't know what that means. If you just like someone that has is a brunette or has black hair, then say that. I don't know what tall, dark, and handsome means. So, but Belle Jolie said it, so it's fine. But just getting out my gripes. I promise I'm in a good mood today. I promise. So, Courtney, who's a program manager, says, like, he doesn't have to have or be a six-pack god, but I just want him to have a neck. And I'm like, that's so specific. Did she get done dirty by someone who had no neck? And she's like, never again. If you're gonna break my heart, at least have a neck. Because it's just so specific to say, I just want him to have a neck. Like, hopefully he does have a neck. Most people do. So she says, like, she did bodybuilding. Her parents were into bodybuilding. She's into bodybuilding. We see her in the gym. She shows us her guns in the confessionals, and she's like, oh, just kidding. I was like, who am I kidding? I'm not kidding. Like, for real, for real. And she says she feels like she needs to be perfect at everything. And she's like, oh my God, am I the problem? Maybe I am the problem. Oh, this does not look good. I think they might be setting her up for something, but we'll see. So Adam was already there with the guys, but he finally gets to talk, maybe because Felipe shut up for a second. And he's a data analyst. And he tells us, like, oh, he has his own cabin on the water. Like, he's been remote. He's been working remote for years. Like, he has a jet ski. He just got a jet ski. So he just rips a jet ski, runs pickleball with the guys. And, when he says he was a data analyst, Felipe was like, oh, tech guy. I'm like, okay. I mean, it is Seattle, so maybe it's just the regular thing. So they were like, oh, so you don't have a car? He's like, yeah, I have a car, but I don't use it because I just rip the skis. And I'm like, oh, we are going to have someone that is so broy. When these things get so broy, just, I don't know, but we'll see. I'm not used to this with MAFS, I think is what it is. And I have to embrace and understand that MAFS is evolving into, for the younger generation. And I'm going to hear things like rip the skis and bro talk and things like that because they're younger. But I'm usually used to MAFS being serious and being all buttoned up and having people. Again, I know of the guys that we've had, but I'm used to them at least pretending that they wanted a lifelong marriage. This just looks like this is an experience and I'm here for the experience. So he says that he's an adrenaline junkie and his career is locked in. He's making way more money than he ever thought that he would be. And he's just looking for a serious relationship. That he courted girls, which I found interesting. He didn't say I dated girls or was in relationships. He said I courted girls, which is like an old fashioned way of saying things. And that he was in nonstop relationships between 20 and 29, where he dated girls nonstop, but it didn't work out because they just were into partying and he's not into that kind of lifestyle. So, yeah, I'm saying that he's broy. So, again, maybe I'm judging a book by its cover and maybe he is really serious and he is really ready to settle down. But I'm not going to be caught slipping. I'm not going to go in there thinking, oh, somebody's so this, and then they make me look like a fool. So everybody's on probation. Everybody's on probation until the 1 month anniversary. So we'll see how they act. Um, he says that discipline is the theme of his life and is because of his parents, and he just does everything. So I expect that he's going to be very rigid, and they're going to pair him up with someone who's just like free spirited and just wants to live life and YOLO. So we'll see how it is. So then Adam goes over to play the piano. And I mean, he's cute. I do think he's cute, but he just seems like really, really intense. So he starts playing the piano. He's warming up, and everyone's like, oh, it's just a warm up. And then he starts playing, and it's nice. And Nick is the one giving commentary on everybody. And then Nick is just like, yeah, I'm all for it. Like, yay for him playing the piano, but it was a long song. And then when he's done, he's like, okay, I'm just going to do one more and then I'll get out of here. And I thought that was funny. So Nick says, like, yeah, he's successful. He has all the things, a good job. He has money. He can play the piano. So his wife is going to be very stoked with him, whatever. He's annoying because, again, he has identified him as competition. So someone makes a comment. We don't see who it is. And they were just like, well, we know who's having sex for first night. And they're referring to Adam because he seems to be Renaissance man and has everything on lock. So we switch over and we see Marissa, that's the girl who came in first, saying she's been to 6 weddings, asked them if they like tequila and if they want to do shots. And now I'm wondering if that is who he's going to be matched with and if they're going to portray her as a party girl because he said that they didn't last because they were just partying and he was looking for something to settle into. And if he's saying that he's very into the discipline and she's just like, woo, I just like to have fun, maybe that's why they put them together, because he did say he did have fun back in the day. So maybe it's muscle memory and it'll come back, but it'll be interesting to see what the reaction will be. And guys, I do know that the couples are out. I don't know if they're out or if Mass Fan put it out, but I like to be surprised. So I actually don't know who's matched with who. Like I said earlier, their social media is open. So you can see all of them are out there just talking about, oh, I'm gonna be, look, mama, I made it. I'm gonna be on Maps and all that. And I will share though that one of the brides shared that she just had a hysterectomy. She shared that information. Of course, it's not a spoiler. It doesn't tell us, if she stayed married, if she's not married, because again, it's a case of even if she's single, she could have done that. Even if she's still married, her husband could be on board and it's a medical situation. But just wanted to point it out there because I think that's the difference also. But back in Lifetime, we knew nothing about these people. They had their social media locked until the end, until we had the reunion and everything, and then they'll open it up. But now it's all open and there's all these bits and pieces out there. So I don't know. So the guys and the girls all cheers and they give a toast to the adventure that they're about to get on. And that is the 7 minute sneak peek that we get. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I know it's a different vibe. It's a different vibe from the maps that I know. And maybe it is a good thing. Like I'm keeping my mind open. Still don't like Felipe, but we'll see what happens. We'll see who he's matched with. But we'll see how it goes and we'll see whether it'll be fun. I think if it's not a legally binding marriage, I'm okay with it. It lowers the stakes a lot because all the unserious people, it gives them even more motivation and less guilt that, well, it's not anything serious. So we could just do this and see how it goes. I'm not getting a lot of seriousness from the guys, except for maybe Adam. And everyone just seems like, again, they're here for a good time, not a long time. I feel like we got a lot more from the men than the women. I don't know if that was intentional, but we'll just see what happens. As always, my favorite part is once we get through the weddings and we just start seeing their personalities and how it's going to go. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you're feeling, if you're looking forward to it, some changes you would like to see. I'm very, very curious to hear. So put them out in the comments, put them out on social media. You know where to find me. It's Tane Talks. And I'm looking forward to the season. I think I'm going to be covering it the same way I did last season. Um, where it was like I'll cover an episode each. I'm planning to have some special guests come to cover with me, hoping to have some former, MAFS cast members as schedule permits. So we'll see. We'll try to make it work and have a great time with season 20. So see you then. Bye, guys.